Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. I'm going to start using my I got a cold voice today. Yeah, please don't get mad at me. I know you will, but that's the way it is. I'm recording some fun little trivia facts about the fair sex. I am already gearing up for the comments. I have only daughters and only sisters, so it's probably not going to be a really fun Christmas for me this year. But what I can do, I need strange and unique content apparently to get hits. So here we go. I don't know why it's so strange. It's probably been a while since you held one, but a newspaper, pieces, articles, everything on the front page, remember that? 80% of those articles ever written were written by men. Not saying that female writers didn't have a knack for news, they just didn't get top billing. In recorded history, more institutions received the Nobel Peace Prize than women. Don't know. Reviewing art displays in like museums and such, institutions that may have won the Peace Prize, the art they put up, only 5% of it was ever done by women. So I guess not that creative. Why does this thing keep going off? I get tired of that. Oh boy, this is bad. In a woman's lifetime, a woman will spend approximately 16 months crying. Once again, this puts me in a bad, awkward place because I don't want to be the reason for them crying, and especially if they're in my family. I'm sure that most men feel the same way, right? Sure. Marie Curie, scientist, really good. Her cookbooks couldn't be used now. They're extremely radioactive. Kind of makes you wonder what she was. How many times did she use that as an excuse for burning a pie or something? I'm sorry, I couldn't use my cookbooks. They were radioactive. So was she, by the way. Women, on average, they only buy most of their items, like 80% of them, when the items are on sale. Another excuse to spend cash you don't have. It's a credit card, it's not a cash card. You still have to pay that back. Anything you make a savings on, if you're paying interest, there's no savings. In 1998, I had to check this. There were 10,113 American women, who took out a form of insurance for coverage in the event they would become pregnant as virgins at the millennia. This, yeah, go ahead. Harper's Magazine. Look it up. Look, I got all day. I'm retired. I do this all day long. Harper Magazine. Sigmund Freud, one of my favorite people of history, thought that hysteria bah, was a disease that only women suffered from. Obviously, he's never been in a foxhole. Um, Consider this the same kind of guy that in this period in time in the Victorian ages or right before it or after it, they invented the term kleptomania. So the rich would have a word for themselves when they stole, not like when regular poor people would steal because they were poor. Rich people needed an excuse, so it was kleptomania. They didn't need that. They just need a new fancy word to explain why they're a thief. keep in mind also basically he only had he had less than 40 patients. I no, why does this escape history? I don't think he helped any of them. I don't know. You know, the whatever. Yeah, and in all likelihood, he had a lifelong affair with his sister-in-law Mina. Probably had an abortion too. The two of them. Well, she did. He was the reason for it. And don't forget, Sigmund used cocaine. I don't even know if I can say that, but okay, a form of white powdery substance that generally is used up the nose or passageways. So he'll probably get banned on this one. Yeah, he used it so much you might say he's addicted or was addicted. And don't forget, this guy liked to walk around with a large cigar in his mouth. I'm not quite sure what that says about him. I didn't think it was just going to be easy, did you? This is all good stuff. In Britain, 51% of the women over the age of 50 have never been married, but this seems to have some discrepancies to it. According to the census data over there, the number is closer to 38% in 2021, but the government is showing fewer people are getting married. Approximately now 40% of adults have never been married there or involved in a civil union. But they're, in this time, they don't like to split up the sexes to show who's who. They just kind of put them all together. How woke of them. Moving on. Let's see. Did I forget something? Because I always do this, but I'm old and I have an excuse. Oh, and finally, number 10, or number 10 if you're counting. In the Middle East, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in 2016, they were the highest, home of the highest car accidents with fatalities in the world. Most of this was blamed on speeding, reckless driving, and not a one had a woman at fault because they're not allowed to drive. So take that for what you want. But yeah, like I said, it's the fault of all the boys in the sheets. But you should also know that in 2023, they had I guess, an excellent national transformation plan or program put in effect because it reduced the rate by 54%, more than half. That's outstanding. Something we should consider, the USA, because now we're number one. That's right. The USA is the highest number of car accidents in the world. Number two is Japan, but they're so far back, it's like we're four times their rate. Another interesting thing about the Japanese, more people tend to die in bathtubs there than car accidents. I'm not sure how that helps. Well, who's it's the women, right? The women drivers in the United States that are at fault. I know you want to go there and because your significant other can't fold a road map, which I don't know anybody who uses other than me. No, 71%. 71%. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, blah, 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 men cause 6.1 million of these accidents, while women are at fault for 4.4 million. Men are directly related to 75% of all fatal crashes of 2024, while women involved in 25% of the same type of accidents. Yet, a woman is more likely to be killed or injured in a motor vehicle accident than a man. And mostly this has to do with safety features that are like seat belts that are designed based on those crash test dummies of 150 pounds. Now, As a father of only daughters, and then I don't know why we're still so backward on this. Women generally make up most of the population. Why is, you know, it, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why do we overlook that? It's just kind of weird. I had something else. Let's see. Oh, yes. This is a bonus one. And it's kind of one of those that's up in the air. George Washington, he had a spy ring, Culpeper spy ring. And they were sophisticated. They used codes and code sheets. Well, there's always been this myth about Agent 355. She was a woman. A lady is actually what the code was. And she's mentioned only like once, but a lot of people say that's, but she was going to outwit them all. And this was in New York. And they take away from this and they say it's just a myth. But the thing is, rule number one in spycraft, just like the devil, you try to make it like you never existed. We don't even know if she exists. I mean, she was a lady. We don't know what her name is. But a lot of people say, no, she was, we don't even know if she was using the spy work. I bet she was. She answered to GW, George Washington. Kind of an interesting thing. They had a show on AMC called Turn, and it was okay. Historically backed a little bit. Well, that's the video for today. Leave a comment, leave a like, leave a don't like. If you do, you have to leave a comment. Um, and as your favorite, let's see if I can get this word right, spermologil. That's wrong, so I'm not going to do it. We didn't do anything about bodily fluids other than, if you're dying in a car accident or something like that, or subject to a virginal birth. But usually we hit something like that. I'm filming this like on December 14th, 2024, which marks my 6th month on YouTube. And it's great things. I have 74 subscribers, and this is great. This is awesome. And Todd's now working very hard in his high school to bring that up some, especially he told me there were two other girls that, well, I'm sorry, that implies that Todd was a girl. Uh, Two other students that watched the channel. So it's good to have them. Maybe Todd, get us up to 80 by the end of December. I would still like to be at, 100, but I don't care. I mean, I do care, but that's not the reason I do this. The reason I do this is I make a video for my grandsons, and they get to see me. But we had 11,674 views and growing. And that's, for me, that's outstanding. That is great. And I appreciate it, every one of you. I do have my backbone guys, Charles and Ben and a couple others. But, you know, and after I talked to my family over the weekend at a Christmas party, none of them have tuned in a while. Hint, don't get help. Some of them don't do YouTube because they say, well, it costs too much money. Yeah, you wonder about, well, be honest, there are people in my family that teach finances as yet have declared themselves, you know, professors in the field. And they ridicule President Trump for taking tax deductions. I don't know where I was going with this, but thanks so much for tuning in. If you like it, leave a comment. Snap a like. They will get better. As you can tell, they can't get much worse. Oh, yes, they can. You should look at the first ones. What a cheap way of trying to get views. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.